I've never been a part of something like this, and I probably not like this, like not, you know, I've done comic book stuff and, you know, and that gets a big reaction, but this felt very different. It still feels very different, and I can't think of a time when, a movie's kind of had this effect on culture, and it's amazing to be kind of in the eye of the storm.
You know, if you don't know, you don't know. Sorry. It's pretty obvious.
I feel like girls that age who are doing that to their dolls are just trying to be themselves and express what they feel inside. And now they don't feel like this, they feel like I wanted to speak to them.
Oh, I do love Weird Barbie, and I love Kate McKinnon even more. The Barbie gang, including Kate and Margot and Ryan Gosling, took part in a very special SAG screening this week in LA. And yes, they spoke about the elephant in the room. Margot was asked about the fact that the Oscars, where the film is nominated for 8, including Best Supporting Actor and Actress for Ryan and America Ferrera. But how does she feel when the internet reacted to the fact that Margot was left out of the Best Actress category and Greta Gerwig was left out of the Best Director? Well, we're going to find out what she had to say very soon. But first, I just wanted to remind you lot, thank you for supporting the channel and being a part of the community. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. There are a ton of videos on here for you to enjoy. And don't forget to leave a comment, because some of you give me banter. I've seen the comments about John Cena and the Dua Lipa interview. A lot of you enjoying that at the moment. So get involved. Right, back to the Barbie Q&A, and Margot Robbie shared this really special, pretty cool story. After Barbie was released, she was in Scotland, and this is what happened.
I had this brilliant experience. I was in a pub in the middle of nowhere in Scotland, and I listened for about 30 minutes to a group of guys on a bachelor party discussing the Barbie movie, not knowing that I was sitting 2 feet away from them. And it was just truly fascinating, and there was, you know, people who at the table who refused to see the Barbie movie. There were people who, you know, one guy was like, dude, it's a cultural moment. Don't you want to be a part of culture? And the other guy was like, I'll never see it. By the end, you did want to see it. I mean, it was a whole thing. And really, people's reactions to the movie has been the biggest reward of this entire experience, whether it's having a moment like that, or whether it's listening in the bathrooms, or whether it's seeing what people are writing online, or even just seeing like how much pink I can see in this room right now. It's just, those moments are what makes it, yeah.
Listen, it's fair to say that Barbie was definitely a movie to empower women, young girls everywhere, but it was also a time to feel empowered if you lacked confidence, if you didn't know your place in the world. And one person that did that really well was Ken.
No one ever had the thought, I wonder what Ken thinks. And if anyone did, they let it go very quickly because it seemed like a waste of time. But she just said, no, I'm going to dig really, really deep into this. And, you know, she found such interesting and beautiful things. So that was there, that work had been done. And then it just sort of became like sort of trying to, we started a kind of, because she was in London, a kind of a text exchange really that was sort of just photos, and it ended up looking like what I imagined Ken's Instagram would look like. He had one that was just all these kind of weird inspo, and it's sort of like it's almost like Battleship, where you're kind of trying to guess like where the other person is, and I would send like a picture of like the Barbarian Brothers from Maxim, like a muscle fitness magazine from the 90s that I remembered as a kid. It should be like, okay, but maybe more like this. And then she would send like a picture of like that guy from the Warriors, you know? And then I'd be like, all right, well, what about this? And I'd send the Ultimate Warrior from the WWF, and she'd be like, yeah, but maybe it's a bit more like this. And then she'd send that guy from Xanadu. And it's the same guy, by the way, and I was like, okay, I'm getting a connection. There's a theme here, and it has to do with that actor. He's the Rosetta Stone. But anyway, it ended up, and then she would send a horse lamp or a bunch of spoon sculptures, and she'd be like this. And I just felt so honored that she trusted me to understand what like a wall of spoons might mean. for this character.
When you hear the cast talk about joining Barbie, a lot of them have these preconceived ideas like, nope, this isn't for me, what the hell? But then they saw Margot, and of course Greta Gerwig aligned to this film, and Greta's got such a great reputation for making awesome films, and she just is this like really cool person that does things out of the box, has fun and thinks big, and is so very magical. So I can completely understand how she convinced Ryan Gosling. Margot reminded everybody at this screening, however, that, you know, at the start there was no guarantee and there was still a level of nerves. Yes, it's the most successful film of 2023 in the box office, but when they were putting it together, there was still some doubts in their mind, like, will people get it?
It seems sitting on this side of the movie that it's obvious that this was going to work out, but even up until a week before this released, everyone was kind of white-knuckling it. Everyone, like, no one, you just don't know if it's going to work or not. You don't know if it's going to hit or not. You don't know how people are going to respond. And thank God it did. And most of you believes that it's going to, but there's a big part of you that is worried that it won't. And, you know, the money people especially are probably worried about that far more than even I am. So, no, I mean, everyone was excited when they saw it, but also terrified. And you know, it wasn't until it was literally out in the world and doing what it ended up doing that everyone suddenly was like, well, of course a Barbie movie worked out. It's like, yeah, it did. No, we didn't know that at the time, though.
When we were filming the I'm Just Ken musical number, I remember going behind a crew guy, he didn't know I was there, and he was like, I'm just Dave. And I was like, this is something going on here. And even Mark Ronson sent me recently, like, his friends sent him, like, her son is watching that song on a loop now because it's making him feel better about getting dumped. Because he's like, well, if Ken gets dumped, you know, and it makes me realize that, like, it's not me, it's like, she's just on a different journey. Cool.
I love that. That's such a cute story. Now listen, the film is so much about empowerment and also just finding your voice. And I think America Ferrera has a moment when her character does this huge monologue, which, you know, has gone viral and we've all shared on our social media. And the interesting thing was when she got to that point to actually shoot that scene, here's how she was feeling in that moment.
So by the time we got around to shooting it, at the end of the shoot, I mean, I felt so ripe and ready, and you know, the truth is like I just spent 40 years being a woman in the world. Like, that's mostly how I prepared for that monologue. And Greta and I, you know, we had a lot in common in terms of, like, both being moms and having careers and being artists, and so we it felt like sleepover bonding on a really fundamental level, and it was just you know, I think that the words were just true, and when I read the words on the page, it just hit me as truth, and I felt like my job was just not to get in the way of what was true, you know. And I think that's what resonates, not just with women, with people of all genders who feel like seen and reflected in the, like you said, you know, Ken and all kinds of people are also damaged by the same systems, right? And Greta had said that she looked around and the guys on the crew were sort of wiping away tears, and they had their own either version of their own or like a relationship or a witnessing of someone they loved having that experience, you know. So I just feel like it was such a gift that Greta and Noah, but I suspect probably really Greta, put on the page.
My agent called and was like, there's a role in the Barbie movie. And I was like, pour moi? He was like, it's called Weird Barbie. And I was like, I read it and I was like, I don't have to change a line. Usually I feel compelled to and want to, you know, put my own like spin on the dialogue and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is what I would write, only it's 10,000 times better, and I don't have to, I'll just say exactly what this is. Okay. So that was amazing. And then my biggest thing became like, what are the clothes? Because we know the hair of these Barbies, that's easy, but they're always naked. The clothes have been flushed down the toilet and burned and buried with the dog, and what will I wear? And that was the funnest part of creating the character, as it were, working with the amazing costume designer, and working on the hair and the makeup was like such a fun journey. Yeah. So that.
Kate's energy is just infectious. Right, Rhea Perlman plays Ruth Handler, and she's had quite a big moment being a part of this film.
Girls came up to me the other day on the street. You're Barbie's mother. Oh my God. How does it feel to be Barbie's mother? It feels really good. Yeah. Yeah, and she, the words that Greta wrote, Greta and Noah, wrote were just, there was no way to screw them up. They were just brilliant. And they had so much emotion just in it. It felt like I didn't have to do anything, but just be there. Just be, most of my work, almost all of my work was with Margot, and it was just a complete joy to be with her, who does not have a false note either. She is just, she's just right there, always.
Rhea there talking about her time with Margot Robbie on screen in Barbie, and of course working with Greta Gerwig. What is really telling and also really beautiful and genuine is hearing all the cast at different times, whether it's Issa Rae, Kate McKinnon, Ryan Gosling, Will Ferrell, Shruti Gatwa, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Alexandra Shipp, everybody talking about working with Margot and Greta, and just so unified and totally on the same page that Greta and Margot just made this whole experience just absolutely memorable and something so very special that they don't think they'll ever get to do that again, which I love. Right, the youngest cast member is Ariana Greenblatt. She plays Sasha. She takes no L's. She makes Barbie cry.
Obviously, you can't yell at Margot. You can't. And staring at her, and as she would truly cry, and I just have to double down and just really ruin her. It hurt, but it's necessary to give that different point of view. And I know many people that when you hear Barbie, what is this gonna do? But yeah, growing up, I had the big dream house, and I just put Monster High dolls in there because I was that kid. I had Monster High dolls. But yeah, especially me, who obviously doesn't look like stereotypical Barbie. I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes and whatever. Growing up, it's obviously now they have, thankfully, so many different types of dolls for kids to play with, but there wasn't many, and obviously, you want to be represented growing up, especially in toys that everyone has and your friends have in your house. So having that different point of view, I feel was good and refreshing. And obviously at the end, Sasha wanted to stick up for Barbie, and she wanted Barbie to have the ending she deserved because it wasn't her fault at the end of the day. So yeah, Sasha's fun. She's misunderstood, you guys, okay? She's not a bully. She's just very strongly opinionated, and she communicates that in a very specific way. Yeah, but yelling at her wasn't easy. But again, it was just I had to.
Can you imagine being that young and being a part of that cast? It's absolutely incredible. Ariana shared this moment, which I thought was hilarious, during the screening, where she spoke about the moment that America and Margot are both singing in the car, and she's trying to be this cool kid.
America and Margot had to sing that song together, and I was in the back just trying not to die laughing. I was just trying to be the angsty teen, they're so embarrassing, but I just wanted to either join them or just cry laughing in the back of that car. And obviously, Margaret, you're too hard on yourself with your voice. You sound great, but you were so nervous. And I just remember you being like, you don't have to hear me sing this, do you? And that whole thing it was great. In America, you have pipes. I don't want to hear it. Like, you can sing, okay? America, you can sing. Yeah. Okay.
I just remember about that scene that, like, we thought we were just shooting, like, a snippet of the song, and then Greta came over and she's like, the whole thing. And we're like, we don't know that one.
It's complicated. I mean, it's not straightforward and it's just repeating like a bridge or whatever. It's like there's a lot
Very
of
philosophical.
very wordy.
Yeah, I remember they printed it out. They printed the lyrics on like 3 pages, and you were just like trying to memorize the whole song in this little amount of time. But
I think also Ryan came to my rescue because he could also sense how mortified I was to be singing in front of everyone, and he joined in the car and like set up and you sang extra loud, and you didn't need to do that, and I'll always appreciate it.
Perfect Ryan Gosling. Now you know why Ava Mendes spends a lot of time on her Instagram just saying how much she appreciates being married to this dude. He's like one of the most likable people in the whole world at the moment. We love him as Ken, and good luck with his Grammy nominations as well, which of course he never probably thought could happen. Now, talking about award season, the Oscars have announced their nominations, and Barbie received 8, which is fantastic. But the 2 women responsible for this film and making it happen, Margot Robbie, didn't get Best Actress. She's not in that category. And the incredible Greta Gerwig missed out on Best Director. And of course, during the screening, Margot was asked about how she felt about the rage and the uproar online, the fact that they were both left out. And here's what she had to say.
Beyond ecstatic that we got 8 Academy Award nominations, and that's so wild. And already we set out to do something that would shift culture, affect culture, or just make some sort of impact, and it's already done that and some, like way more than we ever dreamed it would, and that is truly the biggest reward that could come out of all of this. And I'm so obviously ecstatic for everyone getting the nods that they've had is just incredible. And in the Best Picture, not obviously, I think Greta should be nominated as a director because what she did is it's like a once in a career, once in a lifetime thing. What she pulled off, it really is. But it's been an incredible year, and like for all the films, and you know, there's no way to feel sad when you know this blessed.
I think that's really well said. She's so classy. Margot Robbie there talking about the fact that Greta Gerwig and Margot were left out of 2 main categories at the Oscars. She said, you know, we've got 8 nominations, which we're really happy about. And it's the biggest film of 2023, and it's opened so many other doors for them and also for other female filmmakers. So congratulations to everybody nominated, and good luck to the Barbie gang. And leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Are you gutted for Margot and Greta, or do you think, do you know what? The film's got 8 nominations, including Best Picture. They've had an incredible run. There's loads of other films that have also been fantastic, including Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things. The list is endless, actually. There's so many great films. The Holdovers. It was definitely a strong year. Let me know what you think. Award season, do you get excited about it, or do you think, I don't care, I just love going to cinema and TV? Let me know which was your film of 2023, because honestly, depending on my mood, it varies, because I do think last year was really strong, and I think this year is going to be just as good. Right, I'll be back soon with more videos. Make sure you subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.